I'd like to call to order the Nelson County regular session of Nelson County Board today, June 21st at 5 p.m. Board, do we have any changes to the agenda?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Okay. Let's all stand, please, for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board mission statement is the Nelson County Board of Education, representatives of our citizens and entrusted with their children, pledges to support the mission of the Nelson County School District by setting visionary direction through effective policy, oversight, and efficient resource management. And our vision statement is quality education now, learning for life. Okay, first on the agenda is our student and stakeholder engagement and student performance. Dr. Ord.
So this evening, I think we have some young folks from Nelson County High School. Daryl, Mr. Parks, will you make a bit of an introduction? Or Miss Hendricks, I'm sorry. Mr. Parks.
We have part of the cast from Into the Woods, where we performed in April. And what we're doing comes from the second act, and we have Abby that's going to introduce it for us.
All right. We're going to switch places with you, sir.
Go up there.
We want to come see you guys.
All right. Once upon a time, a red cape, a strand of yellow hair, a golden slipper, and a white cow. It's these four items that send a baker and his barren wife through the woods on a magical journey to reverse an evil spell. They wish for a child and are sent by an evil witch on the scavenger hunt. The Little Red Riding Hood, Jack and the Beanstalk, Rapunzel, and Cinderella soon join the mix on the magical tale of love and adventure. At the end of the first act, everyone sings happily ever after. But as the second act begins, we learn that a giant has come to the woods to seek revenge on her husband's untimely death. At this point in the story, the only characters left are the baker, Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, Jack, and the witch, who are all placing blame on each other for the lone magic bean allowed the giant to come to their home.
But it isn't my fault I was given those beans. She persuaded me to trade away my cow for beans, and without those beans there'd have been no stop to get to the giants in the first place.
Wait a minute, magic beans for a cow so old that you had to tell a lie to sell to a shoe toad? Were they worthless beans? Were they oversold? Oh, tell us who persuaded you to steal that gold.
It's your fault!
No!
So it's your fault.
No!
Yes, it is!
It's not, it's true. Wait a minute though, I only sold the gold to get my cow back from you.
So it's your fault!
Yes, no, it isn't. Not it kept. Those beans brought our house was cursed. She made us get the cow to get the curse reversed.
It's his father's fault that the curse got placed and the place got cursed in the first place. Oh, so it's his fault. So it was his fault.
No!
It's his.
I guess.
Wait a minute though, I chopped down the beanstalk, right, that's clear, but without any beanstalk, then what's clear is how did the second giant get down here in the first place? Second place.
Yes, how?
Well, who had the other bean?
The other bean.
The other bean?
Pocketed the other bean.
No, I didn't. Yes, I did.
So it's your
No, it isn't, because I gave it to my wife.
So it's her?
No, it isn't.
Then whose is it?
Wait a minute, she exchanged that bean to obtain your shoes, so the one who knows what happened to the bean is you.
You mean that old bean that your wife, oh dear, well I never knew it, so it there, well don't look here. So it's your fault. But?
See, it's her fault,
What?
and it isn't mine at all.
But what?
Well, if you hadn't gone back up again.
We were needy.
You were greedy, did you need that hen?
But I got it from my mother.
So it's her fault then. Yes, and what about the harp in the third place?
Harp, yes.
She wouldn't dare me to.
I dared you
She
to.
dared me to. She said that I was scared to. She dared me.
No, I didn't.
So it's your fault.
Wait a minute. You hadn't dared her to.
If you had left the harp alone,
Well,
wouldn't
you
be in
hadn't
trouble
run
in
away
the
with
first
the beans
place.
In the first place, sheep. It was your fault. First place. You raised the beans in the first place.
Your fault.
You're responsible. You're the one to pay. It's your fault.
That's good.
your fault. No, it's your fault. It's your fault.
Good job.
And one of those students is going to be sharing the good news this evening, and he is Corey Keesley, who is now a graduate at Nelson County High School.
Hi, I'm Corey Kieslick, and I have the good news. Bloomfield Elementary kindergarten teachers are prepared for Jump Start and eager to meet our newest patriots. Boston School hosted 2 weeks of summer camps. First, we had a science and nature camp with a trip to Birnheim Forest. Arts camp was next, where students enjoyed a trip to my old Kentucky home and were able to go backstage at the Stephen Foster production. Finally, a trip back in time to the Civil War era includes a visit to Perryville and a traveling trunk of artifacts from the era courtesy of the Daughters of the American Revolution. During the 2015-16 school year, students at Horizon Academy completed 449 APEX courses. This would amount to 224 and a half credits earned. We are proud of all of our Horizon students and look forward to another great school year in 2016-17. Nelson County High School FFA earned a top 15 rating at the state level and was awarded their 16th straight gold medal. The chapter award application will go on to nationals for judging. The Farm Business Management team and Food Science team were in the top 10, and Larkin Williams made a top 10 in the FFA Creed. Congratulations to our New Haven students who completed a full year with the New Haven Mayor's Young Leadership Council. Students met once a month at Town Hall and talked with local and county government leaders, enjoyed educational and historical preservation and informal workshops, as well as a community development. Peyton Carter, Thomas Nelson High School class of 2015, was named as a state FFA officer. And for the district, the following schools achieved 2016 National Beta School of Merit status: Bloomfield Elementary, Thomas Nelson High School, Foster Heights Elementary, Boston School, Cox's Creek Elementary, Old Kentucky Home Middle School, and Bloomfield Middle School. That's the good news.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming and singing that song for us. Good theater always makes me tense, and so I'm so glad we had good news to follow because I was getting a little nervous. Thank you all.
Good job, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Nelson County School Community Support Foundation. Ms. White.
Hello, I'm Dorothy White with the Community Support Foundation, and we've been working hard to move the foundation forward. We do have a new logo, we have a new tagline, and you should have the information in your packet. We also did our promotional piece, and the new tagline is a foundation building futures. We felt that that encapsulated everything that we were trying to achieve with the foundation. We did give away our 3 scholarships. In fact, Corey was one of the recipients. I just talked with him for a minute. And he received the Ethington Memorial Scholarship. The Ewing Scholarship went to Thomas Dane Pike. The Ragland Scholarship went to Jacob Newton. And we did talk about this in our board meeting just previous to this, and talked about some other scholarships that may become available, and then also maybe to critique how the folks are chosen and maybe change that up a little bit from what they've done in the past. We'd like to see some students that really can make a difference in whether or not they go to college, whether or not they move forward, and just want to make a difference in their life if we possibly can. One of the exciting things that we're working on, and I do not have a contract or anything signed. I told Anthony I don't feel comfortable until I have that in place, but I am working with LG&E KU to create our first corporate sponsorship. I'm meeting with them again on Thursday. They keep throwing questions at me, and I keep giving them answers, so I guess that's that's good. At least we're moving forward on that. What we're looking at is bringing them on as a corporate sponsor. They'd have a presence on our website, and they would be empowering Nelson County students. And they are real excited about this. The folks I'm dealing with are fine. It's always the higher ups that they have to, make them agree to it as well. And then we're also looking at bringing them on to sponsor a series of scholarship programs. Maybe something that would work with our students, and when they finished whatever that program was, they would become employees of LG&E, which of course would be advantageous to everyone involved. And we're looking at students that probably will not be going on to college, and so that these would be some alternative positions for them. So we're excited about that too. Meeting with Trey Allen this week from Farm Bureau Insurance to discuss the possibility of a scholarship. So it's coming. It's not coming maybe as quickly as I would like, but we are going to do another campaign in the fall, maybe early fall. In fact, after talking to the board members and telling them, how we don't want to send it out the same week that the tax notices go out. And so I'm glad to give campaign. And so we're going to look at our community sponsors and folks that benefit from having an incredible school district like we have in Nelson County. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I like the idea of not to offer, like you said, someone that's not going to, an alternative to college. Yeah, I like that.
Well, I can't resist. I have to tell you just a little bit more about it, only because I've been working on this for months, and she keeps kind of saying, well, what about this? What about this? But one of the things they are looking at is Lyman School is a fairly short-term schooling that they can attend. It's $13,000 to attend the schooling, but they would guarantee them a job with LG&E, and they would pay for that schooling. And that's what we're looking at. So I started out with 3, and then we'll see if we can, get that done and then just grow from there. But it does sound very exciting, and I really think that we're just hitting the tip of it. And once we really get into things, you do have a form there if you would like to honor someone in your family, someone that has a long history here at Nelson County, and would like to honor them with a scholarship. Of course, we always encourage them, to do that. And then we're looking at, the teachers and staff if they would like to do a donation as well. Any little bit, would help. We just want to make sure it's still a, dynamic group and that they stay focused. So appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We're very glad to have Dorothy working with us, and she's pulling the board together, and the board, you can see, I know she indicated she's not moving at the pace that she really wants to, but you can see that she's taking steps into territory that we just had not been able to reach into before, and so I'm really excited about what she's doing.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Our next part of our agenda contains the operation consent agenda, which contains informational packet that was sent out to each one of us. So we've had a chance to review this, which includes the personnel actions, treasurer's report, bills and claims, munis report, leave of absence, minutes from previous meetings, overnight or out-of-state trips, board training, approval, or policy second reading. Do I hear a motion? Motion. Okay, Ms. Breeding made the motion. Second. Second by Mr. Pate. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, carried. Number 5 is efficient resource management. Here we have BG 4 and 5 of our energy project. And, come on down, Mr. Hawkinsmith. We just love it when you get to stay with us.
I'll be here for a while. I can talk fast.
Yep.
BG 4 and 5, this information hasn't changed since we discussed it at the work session. This is simply a closeout procedure with the Department of Education's Division of Facilities. And we're asking that you all approve that, essentially saying to them, the Cox's Creek, I'll call it the Cox's Creek project because that's where the bulk of the work was done, the energy project. That project is complete. We're finished with it. We've talked about it many times in board meetings, some of the successes we've enjoyed with that. It is complete. We just need to notify the Department of Education officially, and we're asking you to approve that tonight.
And this is to notify that all the work's been done
Yes.
Not that everything money-wise is finalized,
No.
everything back.
No, well, we've paid all the bills and we're realizing savings, and we make an annual debt payment that's due upcoming, but I guess when you look at it that way, we'll be finished in about 19 years. But the project, the work itself is complete.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Mr. Jackie made a motion, second?
Second.
Ms. Breeding, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Letter B is our salary book.
Another item we discussed a little bit at the work session, these salary schedules, proposed changes are in red. If you have questions, I'll be glad to try to answer those. I think we covered most of those back in the work session. I'll remind you, these are flat salary schedules. They're the exact same rates as we currently have for 15-16. I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have, and we ask your approval.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve our salary schedule?
Make the motion.
Okay, Mr. Page made the motion, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Breeding, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. The next is our insurance selection.
We spent about, let's see exactly here, $450,000 a year on insurance. We currently have that in 3 areas, I guess. Called one, the biggest chunk of our insurance is with First Insurance Group. Yeah, thank you, Carla. And that's the property liability fleet. It's Kathy and I refer to that as the package. And you can see that for fiscal 17, the quote we received from First Insurance Group, the insurance company, the carrier being Liberty Mutual, is $273,429, an increase of $1,990. We felt like that was a very reasonable quote, and we're very happy to recommend that to you tonight. In addition to that, we are also recommending that we remain with Keamy through USI and the agent Patrick Conway at a premium of $120,110.47, which is actually a reduction from last year to this year. A reduction in the amount of $1,480.72. And finally, the one piece that has, at the work session a couple of weeks ago, we talked about student accident. At that time, I had a quote for identical coverage from the preceding year of about 68, but it was $67,899.61. That's with Roberts Insurance, and that was through the Berkeley Insurance Group. In fiscal 16, Roberts provided that coverage through Liberty Mutual. Liberty Mutual is getting out of the student insurance business for fiscal 17. So we had to find a new carrier. So I went to the agents. I went to actually 4 different agents, First Insurance Group, USI, Roberts, and Redding Group out of Lexington. And 3 of those returned quotes to me. Roberts being the $67,899.61, which is identical coverage to what you have now, just through a different carrier. First Insurance Group provided a quote of $59,283, and that's through Scholastic Insurance. USI provided a quote of $63,600, and that's through, sorry, I don't have the name here. Through Bob McCloskey Insurance. That coverage is identical to the Roberts quote. The coverage offered or recommended, quoted from First Insurance Group is a little different. Our recommendation to you is the quote from USI for $63,600. At the bottom of that sheet, I've detailed some of the differences in the policies and why we're making that recommendation. All of these policies have a catastrophic component. The quote from First Insurance Group through Scholastic's $5 million, $7.5 million from the other 2 quotes. If a child is injured in a football game, for example, and they have doctor expenses, one caps at $3,000, the other at $5,000. If there are dental expenses, one caps at $200, the other at $5,000. Orthodontics, $105, and ambulance service is $100 versus usual and customary. We're recommending the $63,600 quote. Just felt like the difference in coverage was worth that. Certainly, all those are good options for you. Those are all good options. Our recommendation is to go with USI at $63,600 and continue with identical coverage to what you have today. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
How often is it used? I mean, and I guess maybe more specifically, whenever we looked at the difference in like the dental of 200 versus 500, or the physician 3,000 versus 5,000, the types of claims that may be turned in to whomever, I guess you here at the board, what do we typically see? I mean,
We had a good year in claims this year. I can't tell you off the top of my head exactly what the loss runs were, but I can tell you that our loss to premium ratio a year or two ago was over 90%. So in other words, our losses were almost the full amount of the premium. So there's a lot of claims.
Yeah.
And we're doing everything we can to minimize claims as much as we can. We have, we don't pay for them. So through another agreement the district has entered into, we have athletic trainers at both our high schools, and they ideally help minimize claims and injuries, et cetera. But we do have them.
But whenever we have a claim, and I know every situation is different, but if it's an ortho claim or a dental claim, I mean, are they usually more than $200? Are they usually $70?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked at individual claims. I can't imagine them not being pretty large sums when you have a claim. I've got a son in orthodontics right now, so I'm pretty confident if you have a claim, it's going to be a pretty substantial amount.
Well, and that's really kind of where I was going with that is the difference in the amount of annual premium of $63,600 versus $59,200 and change, but I mean, almost double physician expense, more than double on dental and ortho, and the ambulance. I mean, you can't do an ambulance for $100. I was kind of curious of, is it worth it? And it sounds like you're recommending it is worth it to go with the one that is USI that gives that same level of coverage that we have.
Well, with either one of them, you're saving money over what you're paying now.
Sure.
And with the, versus what the existing agent is quoting. So you're saving money with either one of these options. And with one, you keep the same coverage. With the other, you save a little more money, but you reduce coverage. Now, I do remember a couple of years ago, we came to the board, two or three of you all were here, I know, and our recommendation was to reduce coverage, and you all didn't like that idea, which is honestly a big chunk of why that's our recommendation. That's really a big part of that.
Well, I mean,
remember that conversation pretty clearly.
We're only legally required to have coverage on athletes.
That's correct.
But we go on, and as a board, traditionally, we've done coverage on all of our students, not just athletes.
That's correct.
And part of that being that we want to make sure to try and, if something were to happen at school, and what's her name, Lulu, is that her name? If Lulu were to get hurt, we want to make sure to try and help offset that cost that the parent might incur. And so that's why we decided to go with coverage for all students, which to me the logic would be then having that little bit of extra coverage the same as what we had last year.
Exactly. And I will tell you that we do get a lot of claims. Probably about an hour ago, I spent 20 minutes on the phone with parents whose child was injured. And they don't always turn into claims depending on the circumstances. But, we've got 4,600 students, and there's a lot of activities. We have field trips, we have slips and falls on the buses, and, a lot of activities going on, and we do have a lot of claims. So we're trying to minimize those, because if we can reduce claims, reduce losses, we reduce our premiums. But we do have that.
Do you, in my world, if you can you always add a different component to one of the policies? I mean, like you do your cars, some takes 50,000, some 100,000.
Yeah.
Can you say, if this child if a student gets hurt on the, up the liability, up the insurance on a football player as opposed to a horseshoe player. I'm just grabbing here. Can you do that, or is it just a blank? You either have to take A, B, C, D, and E, or can you increase B, or can you increase certain components of, you know exactly what I'm pointing
Based on
at.
what they're doing.
Based on what they're doing.
Yeah.
So can you do that?
You're talking about based upon the student population, are they
No,
a football?
no.
Well, no,
Yeah.
a football
Yes.
player versus someone who doesn't play any
A
sport.
volleyball,
Right.
because football is more athletic, and as opposed to a volleyball player, which it's not. And you're looking at me like that's a strange thing.
No, I'm not.
No, yes.
Football is.
I get that look sometimes.
First, football's where most,
Contact sport.
these folks, I bet would tell you, football is where the claims are.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Can
believe-
you
I
up-
agree with you. I'm not
Can you can we take a less, not a less, don't get me wrong here, because I want these kids insured, but can you take a policy and add to the coverage at a certain sport other than you can the less contact sports?
What I'd like to do is ask that question of our insurance consultant for next year. I don't know that right now. I can't tell you that now. That has not been something that's come up in my 18 years here.
Well,
That doesn't mean it couldn't, it's not possible. I can ask the question for sure and see if there's a way to sort of a la carte your policy, I guess, where you.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
You can have a
yeah.
blank, like if you could have a blanket coverage on students. The next step would be for an athlete, and then the higher risk. Because some of them, when you go into, it's like builders. You have a policy for a certain kind of this and the next higher, and if they're up on scaffolding or something more dangerous or that kind of stuff. We did anyway. So I would be interested to know if we could.
And I can work on doing that for next, unfortunately, we need to get something.
Yeah, we
in place
need it
on July
now, I
1st.
know.
I will tell you that I bet if I went to these insurance agents, they went back to their carriers, and we said, and I want this off the record, but if we said, we're not gonna have football anymore, what would my insurance policy, it'd go way down.
Way down, I know.
Way down, because that's where the injuries are, that's where the serious injuries are. There's other,
Soccer's pretty
Soccer.
bad.
yeah, soccer
For
too,
me,
but football, you got a lot of kids out there playing, there's a lot that play, and I know I've always heard that's a big chunk of your premium, so, but again, our recommendation is, with the USI quote of $63,600, and certainly, my plan next year is in March, early March, to go to our insurance consultant and put together an RFP, and try to have this approved a little earlier next year, and certainly we can work to get issues like that addressed for you.
And another issue with football, if they're not going to do certain kind of contacts now, if that's been outlawed by Kentucky High School Athletic Association, that's another fault.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No, I think those are good questions.
Okay.
So then on this that's up there on the screen, what you're saying is the recommendation is sticking with the first insurance group for the property liability fleet, goes up just a little bit. The workers' comp, that stays with the same with Patrick Conway and Keamy, and that goes down about the same amount as the other one went up.
Right.
And then Patrick Conway with USI for the student accident that we were just talking about, which keeps us at the same
Same
level of coverage as we had. Last year, it's just different entity,
different carrier.
and it's $3,800 less than we paid last year.
That's correct. And overall, all three of those lines together, you're saving just under $3,300 for next year. I don't know that we've ever done that before, if you want to know the truth.
And two of them are with the same.
Maybe we have, but I don't recall it, our total insurance costs going down from one year to the next. Maybe it's happened. but
And two are with the same agent, Patrick Conway, too, so there's that relationship piece that
That's correct.
I know you brought up during the work session. I think you asked the question, and Ms. Hawkins said yes, the credits or something like that.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the recommendation?
Make a motion.
Okay, Mr. Norman made the motion, second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Jackie seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Mr. Hawkins Smith, RFP Phase 2 Performance Contract, BMS.
We are asking that you approve us placing an ad in the Kentucky Standard newspaper to say to contractors, come show us what you can do for us, primarily at Bloomfield Middle School, but not just there. We've got some other buildings that we know we could improve some things in. Even this building, I know we've got some issues at really 2 or 3 of our buildings. The big chunk of the cost, we're pretty confident is going to be the HVAC at Bloomfield Middle, where we still heat with propane. And we've talked at length that we know we have a well field at the elementary that would accommodate that middle school, which is ideal. It's an ideal project, I think. I think one of the reasons we're in the position we're in, the healthy financial position we're in, is because of certainly one of the pieces that has gotten us there is the success of the last project. So we're excited to at least see what folks can do for us. And we'll bring those back to you when we get those proposals. All you're doing is approving an ad in the newspaper. When we get those proposals, we'll bring those vendors in to show them to you. You can ask them questions. And if you have a particular concern about a particular building, we can talk through that. And eventually, if we can come to agreement, we would put a package together, sell bonds, and try to have the same success at Bloomfield Middle School and some other places that we had at Cox's Creek and Nelson County High School and other places. So we're asking that you approve that advertisement in the newspaper.
And this is a smaller scale of what we just approved closing out a little bit ago. That was the Cox's Creek HVAC, roof, and then all the other little pieces where we were able to avoid costs to pay for that.
Exactly. It could be smaller, could be rough. It just depends on what they come in and find. I know we spent quite a bit of time talking about that project before it finally got approved, and I think for good reason. It was a new thing for us. I know we were all skeptical about it. It has worked really well for us, and so I think we intentionally kept that one smaller than we could have. There were probably other things we could have done when we did that project, but because we've never done that before, we were skeptical, again, rightfully so. We've seen that it's worked out well for us, so that may result in there being a little more work than you might think left, things we didn't do the first time intentionally. So we'll just see what they have to say, though.
Okay, do I hear a motion that, I'm going to read it off to you. Advertisement for the RFP response regarding the Bloomfield Middle School energy efficiency project.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion by Mr. Pate, second.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Got a second by Ms. Breedy. And all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, we have a 2016-2017 CKEC, KEDC membership, and refresh our memory what all those little initials stand for.
CKEC, Central Kentucky Educational Cooperative, Kentucky Educational Development Cooperative. I hope I got that right.
You're right.
I know I'm close. Both of those agencies provide services to us, whether it's special ed, whether it's bidding, food service. There's a lot of technology. KEDC provides some technology services that are available to us. We choose to tap into them. And for over probably 25 years, we've been a member of one, and 20 been a member of the other. And we feel like it's a bargain to belong to both of those agencies, and we recommend we continue.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we continue our membership with those leadership, CKEC and KEDC?
Motion.
Okay, thank you. Got a motion, Mr. Jockey, second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Breeding, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, now we have Phase 3 of Thomas Nelson High School Crime Prevention Environmental Checklist.
And you might recall, this does not require a vote of the board. We simply need the minutes to reflect that this was an item that was discussed. You may recall again at the work session we discussed, we've been discussing this stuff for 4 years at Thomas Nelson High School. This checklist was not required when the school opened, but for some reason now that we're adding an auditorium, they're requiring it. So we're sending it in, and we're asking that you all say you discuss those things that we've been discussing for 4+ years. We get it in board minutes and we send it to the Department of Education. Again, there's no, just need the minutes to reflect that we discussed that, and we've discussed it now the last 2 board meetings, and again, for some time, off and on, various board meetings. None of these items are new. The checklist was completed by staff at Thomas Nelson High School, for the most part, and in some cases, our maintenance staff. There were some maintenance questions on there that they answered, and we'll submit that to them, and along with board minutes reflecting that the board has seen that and discussed it as much as they wanted to, and hopefully we'll be able to move along.
Okay, to make it official, please, Carla, know that we've discussed this, okay? Twice, 3 times. Okay, Mr. Hopkins, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, our next item is Frisky contract and budgets, and I believe Mr. Orr is taking Mr. Beck's place.
Yes, so back in February, you approved the continuation plans that each of our Frisky units developed and provided with the assistance of their advisory boards. Each year, we re-sign a contract with the state that says that we will implement those plans and do so within the bounds of their rules and regulations, because it is a state-funded grant. And then we also approve that contract and budget again. It all lines up back to the continuation plans that the units develop themselves. We've been through, in fact, the numbers again today to make sure with the addition of, not addition of staff, but filling some vacancies that we had among the staff to make sure that we're still within the budget, and that's all in place. And so we would ask that you approve those budgets and contracts.
Okay, do we have those? Do we have those numbers? Or did we get them sent to us?
Carl has, yes,
Excel
Did they?
spreadsheet.
Okay.
They're up
I just-
there.
I looked through all of it, I did not.
And I'm trying to remember too, of course, whenever we approved this in February, I think you
Yes,
said.
for the continuation.
For the
plans.
continuation piece, the budgets that were put together were conservative because at that time we did not know what the legislature may or may not do because of all the turmoil that we were hearing about budgets. These, are they exactly the same, or do I remember, are they just a little bit less? I'm trying to remember.
We made just a few tweaks to it, but it was really numbers within the budget
Okay.
that we adjusted. But in fact, really even before the state discussion got too heated, we had been working on these, and we have always been really conservative with the way these budgets are set up, just to make sure that we have plenty of wiggle room in case things came up in the year that were unanticipated. And so with that, and still being mindful of what was going on at the state level, this has all remained very much as it started.
Okay. It's just that maybe the allocation within the budget maybe got slipped.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, but the amount is still,
Yes,
Well,
and you
okay.
see,
That's
you
what I
see the
wanted to make
amount,
sure.
it's about $240,000.
yeah, okay.
So we would
So I
ask for a
need a
motion to approve the
To
contract.
approve the
amendments.
contract for this, please.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pate made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Norman. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have, under professional growth and effectiveness, our tenured continuing contract.
So each year, we will have staff who obtain tenure status and receive a continuing contract for the following year. And so you see those listed here. In some cases, that's a situation where someone earned tenure in a prior district. They come to us on a probationary year, and once they complete that year, we recommend them to continue with us, then they would receive their tenure status again. And then additionally, when we have new folks who come on board without tenure, when they have completed 4 years in the district and start that 5th contract, then they receive tenure as well. So this is the list, and so we recommend these folks receive tenure. I'll just say, with credit to folks in our HR office and just a concerted effort among leadership in the buildings, we've tried to pay really close attention, and we want to make sure As you've heard, educators complain for a long time that tenure, once acquired, is very difficult to deal with if you wish that staff would move on. And so we've been very careful to make sure that we watch this process. And so we have good confidence in what the recommendations are here tonight.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve this list of
Motion.
tenure in Nelson County School? Okay. Mr. Jackie, okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Norman, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have our college and career readiness, and that's the responsibilities and rights of students, staff, and families, 2016-17.
So the shortcut way that we refer to this is the Student Code of Conduct or Acceptable Behavior and Discipline. We update this annually, and Mr. Beck brought a team of folks together to review that. We went through line by line the changes that were recommended at our work session, and so we would bring that to you now tonight for official and final approval for this year so we can get started with those matters.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve our 2016-17 rights of students, staff, and families responsibility? I'll make a motion. Okay, thank you, Ms. Breeden. Ms. Breeden, I made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Pate. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, letter B, master schedules. That would be Ms. Brown and Ms. Williams. Ms. Williams? If your name's on here, you're expected to do your thing, okay?
She gets it.
Yeah, she goes to the pot after that.
At our last meeting, we talked to you about all school schedules in the district. All master schedules meet or exceed the state required minimum of 1,062 instructional hours within the 174 school days that we have in the calendar. All schedules have been approved by their councils, and I recommend to you that we approve all master schedules for 16-17.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve all master schedules for 2016-17?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Norman. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been seconded by
Mr. Jackie.
over here. So, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, ladies. Fine job, Ms. Williams. Yes, thank you. Our next is our student and stakeholder engagement. That would be school calendar update by Ms. Powell.
I'm asking that you approve a change in the preschool schedule to move 2 school days to home visit days and 2 home visit days to school days. We're just swapping them for a training.
Yeah. Okay, do I hear a motion that we're gonna change up the school calendar for special ed? For preschool, I'm sorry, for preschool, to flip-flop 2 days?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Ms. Brady made the motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Pate. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You got it. Okay, now we have a guest comment. Any guests out there would like to speak? Let me get my official thing over here. Any person wishing to address the board may do so by following these rules. Individuals representing themselves are limited to 3 minutes. Individual representing a group are limited to 5 minutes. Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address, and if you represent a group, state the name of the group you are representing. Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Jackie. Second?
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Norman. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Convene executive session per KRS 61.8101, and then F, and KRS 156.557 4D, and that's what we're going to do.
For formative evaluation.
For formative evaluation discussion of the superintendent.
You need a motion.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
No, I'm not saying that again. I have a motion. Second by Mr. Pate. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We will convene to our executive session. Thank you.